Morning.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Kid in Life channel. Today we will study the Good Life book. Today is number 5, episode 5, but we will uh, start with the
On page 65,
page 65. Okay, let me adjust.
we're continuing with our uh, series here. And the last time we started talking about Wes. He's one of the participants in this study. Now, Wes' parent, his father left, and so we'll continue from that point. On page 65. Wes's siblings step up. 7 years after his father left, Wes Travers became a participant in the Harvard study at the age of 14. When asked in what way the kid's father influenced their lives now that he is no longer lived with them, Wes's mother said that the children's father had no interest in any of them, and the feeling was mutual. While his absence strained the household in material ways, it also brought the family closer together. In lieu of a father, the children now looked after each other, contributing to the household income, an average of $13.68 per person per week, and sometimes chipping in extra to buy one sibling's a needed pair of shoes or a coat or a book bag. As the youngest child and being somewhat meek, Wes had been cared for by the others and protected from having to get a job. They wanted him to go to school instead. In this way, they were remembering themselves at that stage of life, remembering how they felt having to go to work too early in life. They were trying to give Wes the opportunity to have a longer childhood. His older sister, Violet, worked as a nanny and gave Wes spending money to use however he wanted. Each year, he looked forward to summer camp, which his older siblings all saved up to pay for. That's what kept him out of trouble, he told the study, since among the boys he knew, living in Boston in the summer meant getting into trouble, plain and simple. He looked up to his older brother, a hard worker who, Wes said, didn't curse in the house, and set a good example for him. An interviewer's handwritten note from the study's first conversation with the family in 1945 captures the special place that Wes had in the Travis household. Sister Violet said that when Wesley returned home unexpectedly from camp one day, her eyes filled with tears. She was so happy. But Wes's sibling couldn't protect him forever. When he was only 15, when he was 15, only 1 year after the Harvard study first visited, he had to drop out of high school to help support the family. For the next 4 years, he worked as a dishwasher and a busboy in various restaurants, had no consistent friends his age, and spent most of his free time at home. His search to be someone, to be something, had been diverted before it really began. Later, he would tell the study, "Those were the hard years. I felt like nothing." Wes went from being a somewhat sheltered child to being plunged headlong into adult responsibility, working long hours with very little recreation. This meant that he was deprived from many key developmental adolescent experiences. He had to forge his way through days taken up by a menial job, and as happens for many children in challenging circumstances, he had to kick some development tasks down the road. Tasks like making close friends, figuring out his identity, and learning how to connect with others in more intimate ways. He had a low sense of self worth, and life offered him few opportunities to explore who he was. Then, when he was 19, the United States entered the Korean War. Unsure of what his life would become and seeing no future in Boston, West did something many men in the Harvard study did. He joined the military. This was both a way out of his adolescence and a way into friendships with other young men his age from other walks of life, a new experience for Wes. This gave him more opportunity to explore new roles and ponder what he wanted out of life. After what had seemed like an endless period of toil, Wes has entered into a new era of development, his young adulthood. Young, young adulthood, 20 to 40, weaving your own safety net. Peggy Keene, second generation study participant, age 53. I was 26 years old and engaged to one of the nicest men on the planet. I felt completely adored and loved. As the wedding date grew closer, I felt panicked and knew in my gut and heart that I should not be getting married. The truth was, I knew I was gay. The plans and my own fear of that reality prevented me from speaking up. Immediately following the wedding, I quickly began to shut down. Looked for reasons to blame it on my husband, reasons why this marriage would not work. In a matter of months, divorce papers were filed. This whole event is a low point. Not because I came to terms with being gay, but because I caused this incredible man a great deal of pain. I caused my family such grief. I felt completely embarrassed. Again, not about being gay, but for not figuring out who I was sooner. And for all the grief I caused two families and so many friends who supported our relationship and traveled from so far to celebrate this wedding. This was a lonely experience for Peggy in the early years of her young adulthood. Her parents, Henry and Rosa, who we met in chapter 1, were devout Catholics, and this event strained her relationship with them to its limit. She felt lost and isolated. If adolescence is the first time we begin asking, who am I? Then young adulthood is a time potential answers to that question are really put to the test. We typically, we typically become more independent from our family of origin, and this means creating new bonds to fill that vacuum. Work and financial independence become central, and the habits we acquired around balancing work and life can stay with us the rest of our life. Knitting all of this together is the desire and need for intimate attachments that aren't just about romance, but about sharing life and responsibilities with someone we know we can lean on. From the outside, adult young adults can appear to members of their family of origin as detached from family relationships as they focus on work and seek to build emotional intimacy with romantic partners as well as families of their own. Parents might look at their children in this stage and mistake this new focus for a lack of caring or selfishness. Someone in late life might look at a young adult with envy and maybe even a little pity that young people are overstressed and can't see the beauty and possibilities of the time and choices they have. Youth is wasted on the young, as the saying goes. From the inside, young adulthood can provoke anxiety as we become responsible for ourselves, while at the same time our path in life is uncertain. Young adults can also experience intense feelings of loneliness. For a young adult struggling to find meaningful work, to find friends and a connection to a larger community, or to find love, seeing others succeed in these efforts can be painful. Young adults often ask themselves questions like, who am I? Am I capable of doing what I want with my life? Am I on the right path? What do I stand for? Will I ever find the right person to love? Will anyone love me? Two of the great sources of excitement in young adulthood, becoming more self sufficient and getting ahead in the world, can also be traps. To be sure, accomplishing personal goals or career milestones is enlivening and builds confidence. But it's easy to get so wrapped up in the pursuit of achievement that equally enlivening personal relationships fall by the wayside. The drive for self sufficiency can turn into social isolation. Close friendships really matter in young adulthood. Even one good friend who understands what we're going through, someone we can confide in, and who can help us blow off steam, can make a big difference in our lives. Families still matter, though there's great variation around the world in how young adults relate to their families of origin. In many countries in Asia and Latin America, young adults often continue living with parents until and even after marriage. By contrast, young adults in the United States often find themselves living hundreds or thousands of miles away from their childhood homes. Physical separation isn't necessarily a negative, but keeping parents and siblings in an emotional loop can ease the trials of young adulthood and give us confidence to take risk. And finally, romantic relationships and committed intimacy give us a new feeling of home and provide an important haven of confiding and trust. Wes gets ahead in one way, falls behind in another. When a Harvard study interviewer tried to contact Wes in his mid 20s, he was nowhere to be found. When the study caught up to his mother, who still lived in the same Boston tenement, she told the study interviewer that after serving in the Korean War, Wes was recruited to work in some kind of government organization and was living overseas. The interviewer was at first suspicious. Mother claims Wes is doing work for the government overseas. The interviewer wrote in his field notes. Difficult to know if this is something Wes made up to cover his absence or if he is really working for the government. I would guess the former. Wes was, in fact, hired by the U.S. government to help train foreign armies after his service in the war and worked all over the world from Western Europe to Latin America. He returned from his duties when he was 29 years old with an entirely different perspective on life, culture, and the world in general. According to his sister, Wes saved every penny while he was working internationally and was fortunate to have some military benefits and few financial pressures when he came back to the States. He was able to buy a house for his mother and moved her out of the tenement their family had lived in his entire life. Wes was handy and capable with house repairs, so he started helping friends and neighbors with various projects for a little extra money. He was single at the time, dating no one in particular, and told the study interviewers that he was not inclined to get married. This is an inflection point for many young adults. Do I want to commit myself to another person? Am I ready? We know from later records that Wes was feeling nervous about close commitments. He had his parents' difficult marriage in mind, and he'd also watched his older siblings' marriage encounter serious challenges. So he made a conscious decision to avoid romantic attachments. He spent most of his time fixing up the house he'd bought for his mother. Wes had had a challenging adolescence, but he was now well on his way in the world. He was propelled into adult responsibilities at a young age, joined the military to escape, had lived his 20s entirely in other countries. Now he was back. He was, in a way, navigating adolescence and adult challenges he had never fully faced. He pursued things to see if they would be of interest to him. Some were, some weren't. He joined a softball team, a woodworking club, and met new friends. To observers, he was certainly off time and seemed uncertain of his path in life. But in his own way, he was taking on important development tasks and challenges. He was living life at his own pace. And that is,
I think we go ahead to read until about 30 minutes and then we will analyze it, what we read.
well, I like to read maybe 5, 6 pages, and then we could do that.
Okay.
I'll continue.
Mm-hmm.
Failure to launch. As Wes's case show, the challenges of adolescence don't necessarily end at a certain age. Just because you turn 18 or 25 or even 30 doesn't mean that you're finished with the development tasks associated with teenage years and that your transition to adulthood is now complete. The effort to make one's own way in the world continues, and in some important emotional or career development can get postponed as other things take priority. This timing is a little different for everyone, and as society changes, the paths through young adulthood have become more and more varied. There are all kinds of possibilities and all kinds of dangers. In modern times, particularly in societies that are relatively well off, there is a kind of extended adolescence that often continue through the 20s. Jeffrey Arnett has labeled this period emerging adulthood, in which young adults may remain largely dependent on their parents, casting around for their place in the world. The development of some young adults seemed to stall during this period, as they never venture very far out from under the wings of their parents. The path to responsible adulthood has become very complicated, and navigating it is not easy. In Spain, there is a group of young adults called the Nini generation. They don't study, they don't work, who live at home. In the UK and other countries, there is an actual public policy designation for this subset of the population. NEETs, that's capital NEET, small s, not in education, employment, or training. In Japan, there is even more concerning phenomenon of, oh, I'm going to have trouble with this word, hikikomori, which translates roughly to pulling inward or being confined. This is a slightly different issue, more common in young men than young women. That combines the inactivity of NINIS or NINIs and NEETs with arrested psychological and social development, an intense social version, and sometimes internet addiction through gaming and social media platforms. In the United States, the phenomenon is not so ubiquitous that there is a popular name for it. But young adults do continue to live with parents in considerable numbers, and many are struggling to identify a path towards or forward in their lives. In 2015, one third of U.S. adults aged 18 to 34 lived with their parents, and about one quarter of those, or 2.2 million young adults, were neither attending school nor working. These young men and women are not living independently, and this can hamper their ability to see themselves as competent adults. A dramatic and compounding effect on intimate relationships often follows an increase in dependency on parents further stifles the development of self-confidence, but it's not always their fault. The modern economy is unforgiving. Even young adults who go to college and train for a particular profession might emerge with large debts and no assets into an economy that doesn't need them. Parents often provide the safety net. This is mainly a phenomenon in developed nations and within wealthy groups. By contrast, in developing nations and in less advantaged groups in developed nations, children may begin working and supporting their family at 15 or even younger, just as Wes Travers had done.
Okay.
Now,
I think we will learn what we get from the reading
well, what it
on
shows
60,
on starting
yes,
at page 65,
65, yes.
let's review this. Now, Wes, he started off uh, being, well, he was the youngest. He was the baby of the family, and he had older siblings. Those siblings, after their father left, stepped in with work, and they supported their mother and Wes.
Okay.
They actually tried to spoil Wes and make sure that he kept going to school. And for another year until he turned 15, that worked well.
Okay.
Wes was doing well. But at age 15, they don't say what happened, but something happened that caused Wes to have to drop out of school and go to work.
Yes, yes.
And he was doing very low wage jobs like dishwashing, busing, things like that. And so his wages were not that
Not great.
high.
Yeah.
Well, he did this for 4 years. And then, and I can say that in 1951, the Korean conflict started.
Okay.
And Wes,
51 is mean like how many? 1951, 40, about almost 70 years ago. Okay. Mm-hmm.
Wes joined the military, like many young men did.
Mm.
He did it to get away from his current life. He was
Ah,
looking for opportunities.
okay.
Well, the army or the military sent him to Korea.
Mm-mm-mm.
And so during the Korean War, he was in Korea.
Uh-huh.
Well, the person or this study tried to get hold of Wes to interview him. Uh, and that is, let's see,
Look at this.
okay. Well, it doesn't say this.
But in this one,
Here,
you
here we
already
go.
analysis this
Yes,
one.
yes.
Okay.
Here, this is where Wes continues.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, they tried to contact him when Wes was in his mid 20s, and they could not find him.
Ah,
So
he
they,
disappear.
well, he just sort of disappeared.
Mm.
And so you're looking at maybe 6 years after he went in the military.
How many years? 6 years?
6.
Only 6 years. Huh.
Well, he did contact his mother,
Mm-hmm.
and his mother said, "Oh, he's working for the government overseas."
Okay.
And the interviewer was going, "Yeah, I'm not sure if I want to believe that."
Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm.
And he wrote notes
Okay.
that he did not believe that Wes was really working for the government.
Ah.
Now, Wes was actually hired by the government to help train foreign armies. So that was true. He did work for the government overseas. And he returned from his duties when he was 29 years old.
Mm-hmm. That I mentioned. 29 years old.
And Wes had saved every penny while he was working overseas.
Mm-mm-mm. He saved money.
So when he came back, he was able to buy a house for his mom.
Ah.
His mom had lived most of her life in the tenants of Boston, which are, the slums of Boston.
Slum. Not a good life.
Yeah, not a good life.
Mm.
So he bought this house, fixed it up for his mom,
Mm-hmm.
and he also spent time helping neighbors and friends work on houses and do, odd jobs basically.
Okay.
But he was still unsure about, at least during this portion of his life, he was unsure about having a
He
intimate relationship.
okay.
So he,
Just forgot on the job.
yes,
Did not think about girlfriend or
that's
anything
right,
else. Yeah.
because he had a challenging adolescence. That's what they're saying.
Ah, okay.
And he
See.
also saw that his parents had broke up.
Mm-hmm.
See, he had his parents' difficult marriage in mind. He had also watched his older siblings' marriages encounter serious challenges. So
Mm-mm-mm.
he made a conscious decision to avoid romantic
Yeah,
attachments,
because he got the, not a
bad
good experience.
experiences.
Yeah, bad experience. Okay.
And uh, another part of this uh, gets into the second generation with Peggy Keene. And the study or the interview here was at age 53 for her. And she said that when she was 26 and she was got engaged to one of the nicest men on earth.
Okay.
As the wedding grew closer, she became more panicked
Mm.
because she knew she was gay.
Oh, okay. So she not get along with the man, huh?
Well, she got along with this guy as a friend,
But not
but in
boyfriend.
her heart and in her mind, she knew she was gay.
Oh, okay.
And she was, after she got married, she looked for anything or any reasons or any trouble to blame. And when she blamed it, she always blamed it on her husband. It's
Ah,
your fault. It's your fault.
okay.
And um, in a matter of months, divorce papers were filed, and she got divorced. Now she knew that this caused trouble or a pain to her family, to her friends, and to this man. She actually did like this man, but not as a lover.
She like, but not a lover in
Yeah,
another way, like a friend or something
yes.
else. Okay, okay.
But she said she felt, uh, you know, completely embarrassed. Not about being gay, but for not figuring out who she was sooner,
Who she
and
was sooner.
and for the grief she caused her two families and many friends. So, this is the emotional uh, and psychological effects, apparently, that uh, adolescence and young adulthood can create as you're trying to figure out what you are.
Huh, who you are, huh?
Yes.
Who you
And
are. Somebody cannot figure out who you are. Okay.
and here they had these questions. Young adults often ask themselves questions like, who am I?
Yeah, who am I?
Am I capable of doing what I want with my life? Am I on the right path? What do I stand for? Will I ever find the right person to love? Will anyone love me?
That is the question that,
Young adults often ask themselves.
ask themselves. Okay.
And so they get into a little bit ahead in with Wes in that Wes gets ahead in one way. In other words, he develops a career of sorts, but he falls behind in another, his romantic life.
Romantic life.
And the researchers have another part where they talk about failure to launch. And it says that Wes's case show the challenge of adolescence don't necessarily end at a certain age. Just because you turn 18 or 25 or even 30 doesn't mean that you're finished with the development tasks associated with teenage years and that your transition to adulthood is now complete. So Just because you're 30 doesn't mean your adulthood. That's what the researchers saying, that your adulthood is over, or your young adulthood is finished.
It means like everything develop or change can happen anytime.
That's right. Here, let me. The path to
To
responsible
responsible.
adulthood has become very complicated, and navigating it is not easy. So there's in different countries around the world, they have groups of young adults, and uh, they in Spain they call it the Nini generation. They don't study, they don't work. That's what that really means.
Nini,
Nini,
Nini, N
Nini.
N I. This is stand for
They don't study, they don't work,
ah. They don't
and they
study. They don't work.
and who
Nini.
live at home.
Who live at home to do what? Just live at home.
Yeah, they let their parents still take care of them.
Okay.
And I actually know a couple of people here in this area who are like that.
Really?
Yes.
You know them?
I know of them.
Don't say who is it.
No.
I just okay.
And now I see that even with this study, they're identifying groups like that or people like that. So now it says that this is slightly different issues, more common in young men than young women. It combines uh, well,
The
arrested psychology and social development, an intense social aversion, and sometimes internet addiction through gaming and social media platforms.
inactivity of Nini and needs with arrested psychological and social development and intense social aversion and sometimes internet addicting through gaming and social media platform. Okay.
I would say that the internet addiction is a growing phenomenon around the world.
It is.
It is a way of escape,
The real life.
to escape real life, fantasize. Um, the internet is a truly addictive
I know.
form.
But if try to control yourself and do the right way, internet and social media is beneficial for people
It
too.
can be. It can be.
Yeah.
It
But you
depends on the use.
you
See,
need
it
to
says
manage.
here in the United States, the phenomenon is not so ubiquitous. Oh boy, that there is a popular name for it. But young adults do continue to live with parents in considerable numbers, and many are struggling to identify a path forward in their lives.
In 2015, one third of U.S. adult aged 18 to 34 live with
Their
their parents,
parents.
and about one quarter of those are 2.2 million young adults were neither attending school nor working. You can drink some
Yes,
water,
and
some.
I this was in 2015, it says. Well, I know of, let's see, a young woman that's 22 now, and a young man that is 30 that are still living with their mother.
And they no work, no job.
Well,
Just
they're working
uh,
supposedly, but they still live with their mother.
oh, okay, okay, not independent. It's
That's
still
right.
depend on her mother, their mother,
For yeah, housing.
and the mother allow them.
Apparently,
How long?
I don't know. In the generation I grew up in, when you hit 18, you were looking to get out of the house
Yes.
as fast as you could.
Uh-huh. Okay. So, and what happened? I want to know.
Well, it's just that, uh, well, it says that an increased dependency on parents stifles the development of self confidence. That if the parents, that's saying that if the parents still continue taking care of you, it lowers the development of your self confidence.
It's like also self-esteem.
Well,
Sometimes, yeah.
yeah, self esteem,
Mm-hmm.
self confidence.
Mm-hmm.
Self esteem is, self confidence is that part of that self esteem.
Mm-mm-mm.
It works together.
Yes. So, but it's not always their fault. The modern
Economy,
economy is
unforgiving.
modern economy is unforgiving.
Yes.
They blame they, ba- they blame at the modern economy.
That's part of what they're saying, that it's the modern economy is unforgiving. That people that have gone to college, graduated, can't find a job in their chosen field.
I think it's happened right now around the
See,
world. I
here,
heard.
even young adults who go to college and train for a particular profession might emerge with large debts and no assets into an economy that doesn't need them.
That I think I'm not really agree with this. Uh, in my idea, I don't care what you graduate, and whatever you can make money, go ahead for now to get experience. So that now
That
it happened with a lot of new generation that they said, okay, I finished the college. I cannot do the like a physically working. I have to do like a better job, something like that. It's like a they really picking.
there are a lot of college graduates that are doing uh, low paying jobs because they cannot find a
Yes.
job in their profession. So they do. I, I might disagree with you. There are people who are working low paying jobs because they have no other choice.
Yes.
So they live with their parents still.
Yeah. Mm.
So
It's not my my idea and my life, and whatever I can stand up by my own feet. I don't care how hard of work or how hard of job I will do it and get experience and then just go from there. I don't want to depend on any people. You know, that is depend on each people and depend on how the family raise the children. Let them go it like my niece, one niece finished like international college right now, and they want to get very good job, and they haven't get yet, and they couldn't find a good job right now. And their parents said, go ahead, do the Starbucks shop right now. I don't care how much you get paid. Go ahead, do it.
That's right. Our niece is working a lower paying job because the profession or the education she received, she has not been able to get a job in that working in that profession. So she's working in a lower paying job, a more menial job, just to, uh, well, basically to work. Now, that happens around the world, especially in more developed nations. America, Europe, even Japan. Okay, the more developed nations, that's occurring more and more. That's what I
Maybe for that point, parents want to, support them during they just find out something, figure it out for their life. Maybe just support for a while. We haven't finished yet. Let's see what they're doing now. Okay, competency and
intimacy.
intimacy. We will study
Start
to
that.
here and then.
Make a little mark here.
Okay.
Start.
It mean you finished today?
Yes.
Ah, you already finished?
Yes.
I thought you're gonna read
No.
more.
No.
Okay. So overall, the West life when he was young, he doesn't have the good life at all with the parent and family, and then he tried to get out from the house and
Well,
do his
they also
take care of his
indicate
life.
in this section that Wes, when his father left, his older siblings stepped in and supported Wes so that he could continue going to school.
Okay.
They were hoping that he would be able to finish school, and school is part of mental development. And at 15, Wes no longer could go to school. He had to drop out of school and go to work. And
What the reason?
they didn't say
Yeah, that's
why,
why. I just
but
have question why he.
it could be things like maybe one of his siblings got sick or lost their job. Could have been several different reasons. But what this is indicating is that uh, it sort of stopped his mental development. And it like put it on hold, like hold on, life, just hold on. I will get back and start developing again.
Okay.
But that's what occurred at 15. And so for 4 years, he did nothing but menial jobs. Okay, dishwasher.
Okay.
That does not develop, you can't develop friends.
A good friend, I mean, like a
Any kind of friends.
why?
If you're always working as a dishwasher, do you have time to make friends?
I have friend with a job. The
No, no, no. Intimate friends.
intimate friend. Oh, okay, okay, okay.
Okay.
Intimate friend. You mean girlfriend,
No, no, no,
boyfriend?
no.
Huh? Intimate
Just close friends.
close friend. Mm,
You when we had the restaurant, I looked at the dishwashers. The dishwashers had to focus on
Job.
the job.
Mm-hmm.
And they did not have time to have friends unless oh yeah, they talked to the other workers,
Mm-hmm.
but did they have time to?
To hang out together,
That's
or
right.
okay, I got it, got it. I confuse a little bit when you're saying
When
so.
I say close friends, I mean friends that will help you in times of need.
Mm. So this is a very interesting book
Now,
that.
Wes did not get that until in his late 20s after he came back, bought that house,
Mm-hmm.
and then he started doing part time jobs,
Mm-hmm.
getting friends, making
Mm-hmm.
friends.
Mm-hmm.
But so his that time frame from 19 to 29, that 10-year
10 years
period,
period. Mm-hmm.
that's like he was put on hold.
Ah, okay.
Okay.
On who about develop the close friend.
And and
Mm-hmm.
and just a trying to develop a goal for life.
Mm.
Uh, even uh, Miss Keene, after her divorce,
Mm-hmm.
she was not happy, and so her life got thrown off.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they're saying is that currently now around the world and here in the U.S. there are young adults who have put their development on hold
Mm.
for various reasons. The ones that are living with their parents.
Mm.
So,
But it seems like it's not normal in America, but for some of Asian, they a lot of children live with their parents, no problem, but they get a job. They're not just stay home. They get a job, but still live with the parent till they are ready to
not
have some
not,
money or
not all in Asia,
not all. Yes, yes, not all,
because
but.
I see reports on TV
Mm-hmm,
about Chinese youth.
mm-hmm.
Uh, they their form of protest is that they don't work. They live with mom and dad.
Oh, they don't want to work.
No,
Oh, I haven't seen that show.
yeah, yeah,
Larry,
yeah.
I normally I thought about the Chinese is working hard. No more
Uh,
right now. Different.
that's right. Things have
Larry,
changed.
things change.
And in Japan, even the book says that Japanese, young Japanese,
Mm-hmm.
they don't, they just stay at home. They're too focused on the internet, too focused on social media.
Wow, that says.
And I would say it's probably occurring in Thailand now. You have told me that the Thai society is changing.
It's changing now. Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So you're probably going to see things like this.
Hmm. Wow. It's not my time.
No,
Yeah.
neither was it mine. When
Oh
I
my.
was 18,
Uh
19,
huh.
my thought was, okay, get out and make something of myself.
Yes.
That may not be occurring now.
Really. Let's see. Wow. Uh,
But that was what, 50 years ago for me.
oh, I heard a lot of children right now, the teenagers, just told the parents said, uh, don't, save any property or save any money for them. They will survive by themselves. Just have fun with your life. Uh, they not focus on,
Really?
yes,
Where?
in Thailand.
In Thailand, but
Yeah,
I don't think in the U.S.
yeah. They said don't save anything for them. Just enjoy your life when you get older right now. So they want to, build up their own life, and the thing that they said, okay, parent is have some, they earn or own something like that. They have to come back and take care parents, because parents take care them before. It's before is very strong thought about that, but now not strong like that. They don't forget like, oh, I have to come back to take care mom and dad. So they have their own life. Mom and dad, you have something, you just spend and take time, enjoy your life. This I heard a lot.
Mm.
I don't know. The social is changed.
Life changes. Nothing
Like,
is permanent.
yes, it's impermanent. And I just thinking about when I grow up, I just thought about build up the family, make the family have good foundation, strong and very solid foundation, and then build up financial. That is like a basic need of people, and then save some money for my children. But the children right now, they don't want. They just said they want to
Things
build.
change.
Yes, they want to build up by themselves. And also they said they start to thinking about, if they not come back to take care mom and dad or parents, it's not their fault.
Well,
That is a hurt.
I just I don't know. To be honest with you.
Okay. So, oh, let me say hi. Thank you so much for three people still watching us. We read the Good Life book, Good Life book, and try to analyze it, right?
Yeah,
Try,
and
try
discuss how
discuss
things the book
saying.
relates
Uh-huh.
and what we see nowadays in society.
Yes, yes,
So
but
we're doing comparisons.
yes. But for us, the way we do now, we are senior or elderly. We will take care of ourselves and try to be senior who healthy, uh, happy life, enjoy life as much we can.
We're trying to get a little bit wiser.
So thank you so much, and we'll see you again. Hopefully, we can see you guys tomorrow in same time, 10 o'clock.
Yes, and from southern Mississippi, we'll have to say, y'all have a good day.
Yes, have a good day here and have a great night overseas. We'll see you again. สวัสดีค่ะ
Good night for those overseas.